What if the greatest Formula One driver of his generation quits? Not because he lost, but because he stopped caring. And what if the sport itself is quietly falling apart while the suits hold emergency meetings trying to hold it together? Welcome back. Today, we are going deep into two stories that are shaking the entire F1 world right now. The FIA's desperate attempt to fix the 2026 regulations, and Max Verstappen standing at the edge, one bad decision away from walking away forever. Let's get into it. So here's where we are. The 2026 Formula One season kicked off with 3 races: Australia, China, Japan, under a completely new rule set. New hybrid power units, new chassis, 50-50 split between combustion and electrical energy. The biggest regulation change in the history of the sport. And almost immediately, things started going wrong. The core issue? Energy management. These new power units can deploy 3 times more electrical energy than the previous generation, which sounds incredible. But the problem is the cars are constantly running out of energy and struggling to recover it fast enough. That creates massive speed differences on track. A car on full power versus a car starved of battery can have a gap of up to 100 kilometers per hour between them in a straight line. And that's not just a racing problem. That's a safety crisis. Oliver Behrman found that out the hard way at Suzuka when he hit the barriers at a force of 50 G, partly because of the unpredictable power differences the new rules create. The Grand Prix Drivers Association had already warned the FIA this would happen. Drivers said it out loud, and it happened anyway. So now the FIA is in emergency mode. They held their first technical meeting on April 9th. Teams, power unit manufacturers, all in the room together. The statement they released afterwards was careful, diplomatic. They said there was constructive dialogue on difficult topics, which in FIA language basically means everyone was disagreeing, but professionally. Then today, April 15th, there is a sporting regulations meeting happening right now, focused specifically on Section B rule changes. Tomorrow, the technical directors go again. And then on April 20th, the big one. All stakeholders, team principals, the works. That's the meeting where actual decisions get made. After the vote, it goes to the FIA World Motorsport Council for ratification. If everything moves fast enough, changes could be in place before Miami on May 1st. That's the target. That's the deadline. And the pressure is enormous. Now what exactly are they changing? The focus is almost entirely on energy management. How much electrical power cars can deploy, when they can deploy it, and the speed differentials that come from energy harvesting modes. Qualifying has also been called out specifically, with drivers saying the new format makes it less challenging because energy systems cancel out cornering gains. One thing that's likely off the table? Major power unit changes. You simply can't redesign an engine mid-season when you're under a cost cap. So expect targeted tweaks, not a revolution. Q1. Do you think the FIA can fix the 2026 regulations in time for Miami? Or is this going to be a sticking plaster on a much deeper wound? Drop your answer in the comments below. I want to know what you think. Now let's talk about Max. For World Championships, 71 race victories. Third on the all-time wins list, behind only Hamilton and Schumacher. A driver who redefined what dominance looks like in this sport. And right now, he's the most important story in Formula One. Not because of what he's winning, but because of what he might be about to walk away from. After finishing 8th in Japan, eliminated in Q2 in qualifying, Verstappen spoke to the BBC, and what he said stopped the paddock cold. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, he wants to be here to have fun, to enjoy himself, and at the moment, that is not really the case. He said that convincing himself every single day to give it 100% is, his word, not healthy. He was careful to say it has nothing to do with Red Bull's performance. He said he can accept finishing P7 or P8. But when you are P7 or P8 and you are not enjoying the formula around it, the energy harvesting, the anti-racing feel, it stops making G-sense for a racing driver. He called the cars anti-driving. He's previously compared the battery harvesting effect to Mario Kart mushrooms. And when one of the greatest racing drivers alive tells you the cars feel like a video game power-up, something has gone seriously wrong. Here's the business side of this. Verstappen has an exit clause in his Red Bull contract, specifically built around the 2026 regulations. Reports indicate he can activate that clause if he is not first or second in the championship standings by mid-season. Given where Red Bull are right now, that is looking very unlikely to happen. So legally and contractually, the door is already cracked open. ESPN sources say he is leaning more toward a sabbatical than a full retirement. But those same sources acknowledge there is no guarantee of a return once a driver steps away from the sport, even a driver as great as him. And then there's the family factor. Verstappen has been open about becoming a father and wanting to spend more time at home. He said he would not want to spend his whole life racing. He's already found joy elsewhere. He raced at the Nürburgring last month, and he's targeting Le Mans in the future. The picture being painted is of a man who is quietly building a life beyond F1, and 2020 SIXS regulations may have just accelerated that timeline significantly. Some analysts believe his public comments are strategic, that he and his management are using the media pressure to force the FIA and F1 to change the rules. And if that's true, it's working. Because look at those meetings. Look at April 20th. The timing is not a coincidence. Q2. If Max Verstappen leaves Formula One at the end of 2026, does it hurt the sport more than the bad regulations do? Which is the bigger crisis for F1 right now, the cars or losing its biggest star? Q3. And a bonus question. Do you believe Verstappen is being genuine about wanting to quit, or is this calculated pressure on the FIA? Real talk. Let me know. So here is where Formula One stands right now. A sport in the middle of its biggest ever rule change, facing a safety crisis, holding emergency meetings to patch the regulations before May. While its most marketable star sits at home, racing GT3 cars for fun, questioning whether a New York of it is worth it anymore. The April 20th meeting is the one to watch. Whatever comes out of that room will shape the rest of this season, and possibly Verstappen's decision too. I'll be covering every update as it comes, so if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time. Hit the bell, drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.